If you want to run a successful nurse entrepreneurial business, these are 6 mistakes you must avoid. Stay tuned. Hello, fellow nurse entrepreneurs. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was I always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have that flexibility, pretty much have that freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Hello, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about 6 mistakes to avoid if you want to run a successful business. So let's start with number 1. Okay. And this is one that I think that a lot of people, they struggle with whenever they first start in business. It's the one thing that I struggled with when I first started in business. And it wasn't until I actually changed this one that I've made my first 6 figures. So the number 1 is trying to help everyone instead of having one clear person that you're trying to help. One clear person, one clear, customer avatar. So what a customer avatar basically is the design of your customer. What does your customer actually look like, right? So I'll give you an example. I'm going to relate this to healthcare because I know that a lot of times relating it to healthcare makes it easier. So when you go to the labor and delivery suite, for example, if you are menopausal and not having a baby, or you are a male, you're not designed to go to labor and delivery, right? Because they cater to one specific client, right? And so understanding that. And so when you go over there, like we don't even send people over there that don't even need their services. If you don't have a surgical issue, then we're not going to send you to the surgical suite, right? So that's how you know. And so those areas, if you look at it, if you compare it to healthcare, so the surgical suite, people who are going to surgery, the people who have cardiology problems, the people who have L&D, like they're getting ready to have their babies, those areas in the hospital make the most money. Just think about it for a moment. They make the most money, right? Because if you're marketing to everyone, then you're marketing to no one. So basically, when I first started, one of the things that I was marketing to, I just wanted to help nurses. And that's what I said. I just wanted to help nurses. And so when in helping nurses, several people came to me. So one person wanted like life coaching. So I helped her with life coaching. So we went from a credit score of, we went from bankruptcy to a credit score of over 800. And so someone came to me for financial coaching. So I helped them with financial coaching. So basically I was tailor-making my program to everyone who came into the program. That tired me out, kept me at, working as in the job of the job. And it was really, really hard in order for me to do that. So you don't want to market, or you don't not market to everyone. You want to make sure that you niche down on the problem that you solve, right? Now, once you get to $1 million, then you can start solving other problems. But at the moment at which you are at, you don't want to be solving all those problems for everybody, right? Because if your message is for everyone, it connects to no one, right? And so when you are super, super clear on how you solve their problem, then that takes out the confusion. And when that takes out the confusion, then they're ready to buy from you. All right. Now, number 2, pricing like an employee instead of a CEO. Charging an hourly rate because it feels safe, right? So instead of saying that you're going to go in and you're going to help someone, which you can just work for someone if you're going to do this, help them with their readmissions, because there used to be readmissions managers, right? So you're going to go in there and you're going to help them with their readmissions and you're going to consult with them. Well, if you charge them an hourly rate, that's going to be $150 an hour, maybe, okay, that you can charge. But if you charge for the outcome, right? What is the outcome that you're charging for? And package it in that way, right? So instead of saying $150 an hour, you say for $15,000, we can do a 30-day re-implementation program, right? So even if and this is the return on investment as well, because what you have to understand is that whenever you are packaging in that way, you want to make sure that you help them to understand the return on investment. So the return on investment for 2 to 3 admissions can be well worth over $100,000, right? And so because of that, you want to let them see what that looks like. Because if you price like an employee, like I used to do that job, I took their readmission rates from 12% down to 9%. That was a significant savings, right? But I was still working as an employee. Now, if I went back in to consult, I would absolutely charge very differently and give them the roadmap in order for them to reduce their readmissions instead of me going in and doing all the work. Now, I built a community paramedic program. It was the whole thing, right? But helping them, consult with them to help them to understand. And as a nurse entrepreneur, like, you can do all kinds of things. It is absolutely crazy the amount of things that you can do. Okay. Now, this is the reason why you need to be in the Millionaire Nurse CEO conference, right? Because you absolutely learn how to niche, you learn how to price, you learn how to position yourself like a true CEO. We have hot seats where you come to the hot seat and you learn, like, we can help you with your specific problem so that you can move the needle forward. So this is where nurses stop thinking like CEOs, right? Because when you're in the room with other CEOs and when you're in the room with other people who are six and 7-figure earners, then you start to think, okay, I've been, either you've been doing it right or you've been doing it wrong. But if you haven't reached your goal, then 9 times out of 10, you may be doing it a little wrong. And that's okay, right? Because all of us are not perfect, but we want to learn how to get into that level where we're able to make more money. Okay. So now, number 3, this one is golden. All right. Starting with branding instead of a real offer. And I see nurses all the time come to me and say, well, I need a website. And I mean, you do, right? We live in this world where you do need a website, but that should not limit you from marketing and doing the things that you need to do, right? Because you have a certain amount of knowledge that you need to be able to give to your clientele. And while you're waiting for a logo to come back, for a website to be built, or for a post, without clear services, like you're wasting time. So you want to make sure that you have an offer that you've built that so that you can continue to work towards it. We talked about offers last night, and this was very, very eye-opening. The total addressable market, like, there was not a service at all within those offers. The clients, because I related them to, like, we structured them based off of what our clients are wanting. And each one of them was at least 100 million. Like, the total addressable market was 100 million to like 100 billion. Like, it was a lot of money that can be made in healthcare, right? And so you have to be intentional about that. You have to understand that it is built off an offer, not aesthetics, right? Now, of course, aesthetics, you need to shore that up, whenever you can. But I didn't start with great aesthetics. I mean, let me tell you something. I started and I had this, I show it to my clients all the time. It's this video that's very dark. I didn't listen. It was a whole hot mess. All right. But I didn't stop there. I didn't stop there because I knew that was where I needed. And this is the thing. Oprah Winfrey said this. She said that you don't get what you want, you get what you believe. And I believe that I could help nurses. I believe that was my purpose in life. And so because I believe that, then that's what I got. So you have to understand that what you believe is what you will get. So you have to be very, very clear on that, right? So people pay for solutions and not colors and funds. There are some people that have gotten major, major deals and they don't even have a website. So I just want you to know that. I want you to understand that. You just got to put yourself out there and make yourself well known, okay, before you do that. All right. So now, waiting until you are ready before selling. or waiting until you are ready to start your business, taking endless courses. Now, I'm the course taker, all right, because I got a certified emergency nurse. I'm a certified as an emergency nurse, and I have a DNP, a doctorate in nursing practice. And really, I didn't, honestly, when I went back to get my DNP, I didn't go back to get my DNP because I knew what the end goal for me was at that time was to become a CNO. I wanted to become the chief nursing officer. When I was in DNP school, I had one of my mentors and she just bust my bubble. Child, listen, she busted my bubble. And what she said to me was, just because you get the distinction does not mean that they have to offer you the job. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, they don't have to offer you the job just because you got a DNP. And I was like, I thought that it would open doors because that's what some of y'all think. Okay. And I want you, if you have thought that before, I want you to drop open doors in the chat. All right. I thought it would open doors and I ain't opened not a door. It opened one door. I mean, I became a manager, but it was just not worth me going back to school. But I did, at that time, I did think that I wanted to become the chief nursing officer. But once I kind of pulled back the curtain of healthcare and kind of figured out what was going on behind there, I knew that my mission and vision and values did not align. And I tell the story all the time about the COO who said that we don't want to keep patients out of the hospital. And I knew that, yeah, because I wanted to keep them out of the hospital. He didn't necessarily want to do that. And the reason why I wanted to keep patients out of the hospital is because it's just better for the patient. It's better for the patient. It's better for the nurses. It's better all the way around, right? And so he didn't want that. And so I knew that I can't get past that. So I was good. So I knew that I had to create my own thing, right? Now, this is the thing. Confidence comes from clients, not more certificates. Confidence comes from you doing the thing. You do it once, and then you do it again, and then you continue to do it. And that's where your confidence comes from. Be clear. The market rewards action, not perfection. Action, not perfection. Just think about Keith Lee, for example, okay? Just think about him, for example. Keith Lee started with, I don't know if y'all know who Keith Lee is, okay? But if y'all know who Keith Lee is, I want you to drop Keith Lee in the chat, okay? Keith Lee started with this little Paw Patrol chair. He was sitting in the chair, okay? And then he was doing these food reviews. The more he did it, the better it got. The more he did it, the more confident he got. He said that he suffered with anxiety, but the more he did it, the better he got at it, right? And so this is what you have to understand is that the more you do it, the better you will get at it. And so this is the reason why you need to be in the room with the Millionaire Nurse CEO conference. It's coming up February 20th through the 21st, because you don't need another year of figuring it out. I thought that once I went back to school, the one thing, and I will say this, the one thing that going back to school to get my DNP did give me was it did give me discipline. And that's the one thing that you have to understand too, as well, is that discipline is super, super important. Because I knew that was the thing that I wanted to do. But a lot of times what happens is we wait to do things, right? Because we want to feel comfortable with the thing. But I knew that in order for me to get to where I needed to be, I knew that I needed to start in the morning. So instead of me waiting until, 12 o'clock at night or whenever, I started out doing things in the morning. And I have to attribute that partly to my son. My son, his name is Devin. He's my baby. Anyway, so Devin would come in and he would talk to me on Wednesday night. So, whenever you're in school on Wednesday night, that's when, at least the one that I was in, right? And a lot of them, right? Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m., your whatever assignment is due. He would always come in there on Wednesday and try to talk to me because he plays too much. All right. It is what it is. But anyway, not too much. Maybe he plays like he should. However, he would come in there and he would try to talk to me, and he would try to talk to me because he knew that I was going to tell him, boy, get out of here. All right. But still, I knew that I could not, because I did want to spend time with him. So I knew I needed to change kind of what I was doing in order to ensure that I was able to spend time with him. So I would get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. And so I got up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I would do most of my work during that time. Number one, my mind was clear. I didn't have all the I don't want to say trash from the day, but I didn't have all the things that you have to do during the day, right? I didn't have all those things ruminating in my mind. I was able to start afresh. And so that is the reason why I started to get up in the morning. So we're going to go to commercial break and we'll be right back. Stop renewing your license just to stay broke. Every renewal season, nurses pay fees, take classes, and check boxes, but never build wealth. That license you're renewing every 2 years, it's a gold mine if you stop using it the old way. At the Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference, you'll learn how to leverage that same license to build your own business, to coach, to consult, and to create offers that bring freedom, not fatigue. And yes, you'll still earn CEUs. Comment conference below and we'll send you the details. Like, why wouldn't you come? Like, you get CEUs from it. Okay. All right. Next. So, number 5, avoiding marketing because it feels salesy. Okay. So, I'm just going to give you this example. So, when you are going, we'll say, to a foreign country, because we've been to a couple of foreign countries here lately, right? When you go to a foreign country, they don't necessarily have like signs. So for example, so we're going to talk about if your parents have, or if anyone in your family, we won't say parents, anyone in your family has a heart attack, or you have a heart attack, whatever, like you need medical attention for whatever reason, whether it's heart attack, you have an anaphylactic reaction, whatever is going on, right? So in this country, off of every interstate, you see a sign that points to the hospital. When you get into the city, there are commercials with where the hospital is, or there's billboards about the hospital, or there's just marketing about the hospital, right? But you know that there is you absolutely know that there is this hospital somewhere in this city, right? Because it's something that happens. They're everywhere, right? The reality, though, is that because nurse entrepreneurship, even during this time, is fairly new, right? Some people don't even know that it exists. Some people don't even know what you're selling, okay? So just imagine, right? Your family member is having a heart attack, anaphylactic reaction, whatever they got going on, right? And you don't know that the answer to the problem even exists because they've not advertised themselves. They've not put themselves out there. They've not made it known that they are the solution to your problem. Just think about that for a moment, right? So what happens is, because you don't know that there is a solution to your problem, and you keep with that same problem. Now, if they're having a heart attack, they may not die, but typically if they're having an anaphylactic reaction, they're probably going to pass away, right? So you're killing people's dreams because you're not telling them that you have the answer to their problem, right? And it's not salesy. And so let me give you an example. I'll give you an example of my brother, right? So my brother, he's so funny. So he always, whenever he calls me, he's like, "Hey, doctor." He's hilarious. I love him. So he calls me and we're talking on the phone, and he had had a heart attack, right? And the physician calls me and he tells me what the plan of action is, that he's supposed to have a cath. And then after he has the cath, if the cath shows enough damage, then they're going to go in and do a CABG, which is coronary artery bypass graft, which is kind of like open heart surgery for those who are laymen, right? So he does that. So basically he gets in and the physician is telling me about that. So apparently my brother has a little bit of kidney issues, right? His kidney function is not as optimal as it should be. So whenever you give dye and your kidney options are, your kidney functions is not as optimal as it should be, what happens is sometimes it can shut your kidneys down if you don't really, really hydrate afterwards, right? So when he called me and we were talking, and he said to me, he said, "Well, I don't think that I should do that," right? And I said, you don't think you should do what?" And he said, "I don't think I should have the cath done," right? Because the cath is more diagnosis. So he said he didn't think he should do that. So what I did was I I talked to him and I said, because in that moment, you have to just give an informed decision, like helping them make an informed decision, right? And so in that moment, what I said to him was, this is what's going to happen. All right. If you don't have the calf, they can't identify the problem. You may not get the ultimate solution, which is the cabbage, coronary artery bypass graft, and then you may die. That's the scenario that I gave him, right? To help him make an informed decision about how he was to move forward, right? But I needed to do that in order to be able to help him. Now, when you're in nursing or when you're in nurse entrepreneurship, is not salesy. You are selling your product for sure, right? But it is not selling what you're doing. 25% of the market. I want you to listen to these statistics. I want you to drop 25% in the chat. 25% of the market is going to absolutely say yes. And then you're going to have the 35% or so that's going to say, absolutely not. You're not a good fit. This is not what I want to do. Whatever, right? They're just not wanting to move their business forward. You can't do nothing about that. If their business dies, that's their decision. You have to move forward. And then there's about the 40%. The 40% is the maybes. And so he was at the maybes, right? So I want you to compare this to sales, because at that maybe, what I did was I said to him, I said, okay, this is what your consequences are. This is what your decision is. Just know that the consequences may result in this. So then that's when he said yes, because he was an informed buyer, right? He was informed in the process. You, as the nurse entrepreneur and in your sales process, all you're doing is you're informing them about what they should do and what they should not do, right? You're just informing them as the coach, as the one who knows more, right? I went to nursing school. I went through all levels of nursing school. I've been an ER nurse for a long time. I've been a nurse for 30 years. So I understood what the end is at. Marketing is leadership. Sales is service. When you market your brand, you let people know that you are there. My brother knew that I was there, right? And so he was able to call upon me so that I could help him get what he needed. And this is the thing. The best nurse doesn't always win. It is the most visible nurse that wins. I want you to be very clear about that. So you can be the best nurse that you want to be, but if you're not the most visible, then you're not going to get the sale. So do you want to sell? Do you want to serve like you need to serve? Or do you want to stay private? Those are decisions that you have to make, right? That's what you need to avoid. Number 6, treating the business like it is a side hustle. Working only when you're exhausted from shifts. And I said this before, you need to be intentional about working on it during the time that you are most optimal. So I'm most optimal in the morning. Some people, there's a certain percentage of people that they do well once they at the end of the day, like they can come home and they can do their thing, right? I'm not like that. Like at the end of the day, I am tired and I'm likely not going to do it. That's the reason why whenever I work out before I can even think about it, right? Because I know that it is important and I know that I need to do it. When I work on my business, I work on my business mostly in the mornings. Those are the things that you have to know. Business doesn't grow from leftovers. Wealth requires commitment, systems, and CEO decisions. And this is a bonus one right here. So click bonus, tap bonus in the write bonus in the chat. Bonus is that you need to do it fast. You need to do it fast. Waiting does not help you at all. I want you to be very, very clear about that. Success loves speed. The more you do, the sooner you do it, the more you can corner the market so that you can make more money, you can have more leverage, and you can have more impact in the business. Now, this is a conference reminder, okay? Proximity creates power. Nurses grow faster when they're surrounded by bold builders. That's the reason why you have to stop playing small. And the Millionaire Nurse CEO is the room that you need to be in, okay? Because this is the truth. These mistakes keep nurses trapped in burnout. CEO of Nurse Building offers visibility and wealth. Freedom comes from CEO decisions. And in this room, we help you with your decisions. So drop conference in the chat if you want to join us for the Millionaire Nurse CEO conference. We'll probably have a link up here somewhere, and we look forward to seeing you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.